Yeah, I mean, once we hit another break point, or I'll get this gentleman, or there might be some hidden somewhere amongst all of the materials in here. I went to the little stashes of sandpaper, but everything's either super heavy grit or like super high grit. All right.
Yeah, I don't think we want to be sanding this.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Yeah, anything over 220s that nice middle point. You know, like it's not really gouging it too much. The foam blocks are okay. There's these new like kind of squishy, like ergonomically designed handles. That's like you just take a pad and just or a disc and you can just slap it on there, and it curves. It's like really squishy, so like it goes around contours really well. Yeah, Home Depot. There's one back there somewhere. I'm gonna take another break. I'll dig it out. But yeah, it's nice. Like it's really well designed. Like it doesn't feel like you have to grip hard to like hold on to it, so you're not, you know, eventually like killing these tendons and everything. Hours of like sanding. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like having that like foam to it where you can like, as the countertop rolls over, you're not like, you can just put it and just go, and it's already gotten most of it, you know, it's nice. Yeah.
Actually, I'm very new to this.
All right.
You want us to sand?
Yes, unfortunately there is no 220 here other than that one tiny little pad.
If I don't have any
Home Depot's
contamination,
not
do I have
bad.
sand?
Yes, so because we are not jumping directly back on this, that chemical window at this point is closed.
The recoat window, right?
Yeah, the recoat window
That's
is
called the recoat
closed.
window.
So how much time do you have for recoat?
With Mach 1, technically it's depending on like the humidity and the temperature, right? After it reaches that, like, you get this at like 8 hours. You can jump on it when it's still tacky. Like it's not moving, it's not flowing anymore. You let it hit that point to where like the work time is over, it's starting to gel up, give it a couple of hours, and as long as it's not like super malleable, you can pour on it. I mean, technically you can pour on it when it is super malleable, you just have to be very, very light-handed with what you're
And
doing.
not pour from high up.
Yeah, like you have to make sure not to use, like a lot of people use the notched trowel, you know, like it's usually used in like mortar beds and grout and stuff like that. But it's great for like
a hard metal one? Like
yeah,
an actual trowel?
yeah. I believe it's like the 1/4-inch tooth is like, it's perfect. It's really good for like spreading out and keeping an even rate quickly. Like
You
it's
use
nice.
that for epoxy?
Yeah,
Like those square notch
Yep.
trowels, like tile trowels?
absolutely.
Huh.
I mean, think about it. It's just like a notched squeegee on a floor. Same.
Squeegees come to a point though. Well, I guess the trowel has like a pointed side too. Usually.
Yeah, I mean, like if some brands it doesn't like it because like if that notch is like meeting the substrate and you're separating it, some materials won't want to fill it back in. The surface tension kicks in. Mach 1 I've never had the problem. Mach 1's
I guess
fantastic.
what I haven't understood about the recoat window. It's like there's a window of work time,
Right.
and then it starts curing. So is that when the recoat window starts, when the work time ends, or is there's like a dead man zone of like two, like you
I would
said,
say like the recoat window is like after it has firmed up, but you can tell like it's still kind of soft. Like when you're hitting a recoat window on a floor, like you don't even want to walk on it with like cleats or like shoes because like it's still kind of soft, you know. And if you have those like hard focused points where you're putting all your pressure, like it'll definitely indent, you know. So it's either, you know, go with sock feet or you know,
like it's not tacky enough to stick to you.
yeah, exactly. But it's still soft. Like that means like that chemical window is still open at that point.
Okay, and that's when you can not sand.
Yep. And some, what's up?
Go ahead.
No, you go for it.
Like when I'm doing that floor, I'm gonna do it first day. On the second day, I'll come. The window will be closed already, right?
Not always.
Like on a single shot.
No.
Single shot. I have to pull the TDS.
Yeah, I could get you that information.
Okay.
And then if
I
you
want
need
to say
change
it's
the
I want to
epoxy,
say
do
it's
it.
16 hours, I believe.
Because I know for a fact that's how Corey runs his jobs. He likes to hit Rico windows. He doesn't
Yeah.
sand.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
he's not doing. We're not doing 1-day systems. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, but I mean, you can
It's possible.
you can save a lot of time. You can save a lot of time, and to be honest, like
No,
I
don't wanna-
I swear by a chemical bond. Like I would like if it has to be mechanical bond, okay, like
that's,
it
Corey
works.
says that as well.
But if you can get a
swears by the
chemical
Rico.
bond, like I mean, it's literally just on a molecular level grabbing that coating underneath
And
it.
it saves you.
Like they become one, you know. But if you're towards the end of the recoat window, it might not grab on as well, you know. So that's the thing of like temperature, humidity. Like there's so many factors that'll really determine what your recoat window is. And if you feel like there might even be a chance you're getting towards the very end of it, don't risk it.
So you said it has to be like it'll still be soft. It won't,
Yeah,
It won't.
it'll still be malleable. Like it's not like
And you said not-
super soft, but like if you put like a thumbnail like in it and really push, if it leaves a little bit of an indentation, that's good.
Okay.
Like
And
that's
not to walk in cleats in there.
yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, some guys do, but
So
like
socks.
yeah, yep.
Yeah,
And
your
then
order's
working.
done for, buddy.
Well, I guess you should top coat so you don't have to go over it again.
Oh man, I mean, like if you're talking about like the ballistics top coat, like you got to make sure that the curing process of that epoxy has gone all the way through.
Yeah.
You don't want it
That's
outgassing.
wire.
Yeah.
Tomorrow you got to come back to later and do it.
Yeah, or go through a
But-
process of buffing with a different
do.
series of pads.
We do have stealth, and that's wet on wet.
Yeah, there are
you
some that
can-
are wet on wet.
Yeah, wet on wet means you can spray it right as you lay it out. When it's
You
done,
like
it
wet on
hasn't
wet?
cured
So
yet.
for the
What's that?
square, I have to wait.
Why you gotta wait till that
You,
shit
you like wet on wet
I'll
color?
like this, and then I
Me
gotta sand
personally,
it
no.
And then do it, or do I not have to
Because
sand it?
more often than not, there's some kind of debris
I
in the
almost feel
floor.
like you don't have to sand. I gotta get your.
No matter
I'm
how
always-
stringent you are
There's
on paying
wire.
attention to your
You
steps
don't
and your
sand, right?
cleanliness,
Yeah, you just spray it down
we
and
just
mop it in.
naturally bring debris with us,
Use one of
you
our
know,
microfiber
whether it be
mops.
hair,
Push it
dust on
around.
your clothing, dog hair on your
You don't want
clothing.
a mop
You know,
that
say
soaks
that
it
there
up.
was something
So
like
you wanna pre-wet your mop
like
with
gummed
guys
up on your
film off?
cleats that you
Yeah,
just
we have them
didn't
right
see
now.
whenever you checked them real quick and it managed to fall off as
I
you're
mean, we
walking
recommend
around.
you use
Like
ours
there's
because we
there's too
know
many factors
what it
at
does.
play.
I'm not
And
saying
like
you can't go
if
get a
people
mop
are worried
from
about wet on
somewhere
wet,
else, but I
that
can't
means
guarantee
like
that
that
mop's
job
gonna
is being
do what we
rushed,
say it's
right?
gonna do, you know what I mean?
And I have like a firm stance on, and this is like
We
me
have a
for the
cleaning
niche
mop,
that
too. We
I
have
go
one
for.
like we have application
I
mop.
refuse to rush.
There's like a blue one, and then we
I'm
have
not
a
rushing.
white and blue one, which
I'm
is
going
like
to
cleaning
make
mop
sure
now,
this is
it'll
done
soak it up.
right.
So you just want to make sure you
If I'm going to charge you $25 a square foot for a floor, that's base rate. I'm going to make sure that it is up to my standards, which is already way up there compared to the average standards that you see in the industry. It's like I believe that I am literally putting down a piece of functional art. That's how I treat it. Like this isn't a floor, this is a canvas. That's why I take my surface prep so seriously. Back in the
Is there
day,
a special way of sanding, or you just let it rip?
Yeah,
is
I
there
mean-
a
I mean,
certain
with,
way to
like-
sand, or
no, when it comes to like in between your coats, yeah, like 220, I mean, literally just make sure that you want it like scuffed. It doesn't have to be completely deglossed. You just want to like just knock down the shine a little
quibble with
bit.
it
Yeah,
and do the whole thing then.
yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Did you need more sandpaper? There is a Home Depot not that far away. but-
Yeah, I figure on the next break we'll we'll
I got you.
get some. Because I foolishly saw lots of sandpaper around and went, oh, we're good. No, we're not. It's all 40, 60, 2,000, 8,000. Like, there is nothing that's like in that
So
220
for
range.
220 is what you want.
Yeah, 220 is
coats.
220 is money.
Okay.
I mean, some resins
Even
you
on like a floor, like
yeah. I mean, with the floor, depending on which coating you're putting down. I mean, shit. There's sometimes I'll chew up a floor with 60 grit,
really.
and then start dropping like more resin. Like there's times where I've hit it with like 80 grits where I find that like you can really chew into it, but like it's not so deep that whenever you're running metallics over it, you can see it. It doesn't translate through.
Are you worried about the dust that comes off from sanding? Do you like vacuum it?
Oh yeah. Oh
Do you,
yeah,
like
yeah,
on
yeah.
the floor, like you're
Absolutely.
Yeah, vacuum it and then come back.
Dude, you want to vacuum? Like my rule is 3 times.
before you
Three
after
three
sanding.
passes of that vacuum, then solvent mop.
Solvent
See
mop.
what you got. You might need another solvent mop, or you might have to go back to the vacuum.
Really?
But I mean, like, dude, there are times where literally, like, on that 4,000 square foot dispensary that we did, there would be days where we put like 16 hours into cleaning before we could continue on with the next coat. Because it's like anything that is between the coating you're putting down and the coating that's already there, anything that's in the way is a risk.
Right.
It can become something that's going to inhibit a true bond. So you want to make sure it is like surgically clean. And like you'll see it all the time. People will be in forums asking like, how do I not have this happen? It's always like some little piece of debris, something, you know? And people say clean again. You think it's good enough, it's not. Clean it 2 more times, mask everything off. It needs to look like a kill room in Dexter, and then clean again. Like, you have to clean. It is absolutely crucial. When I have my kid help out on jobs, because he's all into this. He's only 11, but he's like, I want to do what you do one day. So I've already decided, like, if he's serious about it, because he's been telling me for a couple of years already that he wants to do this stuff.
You went to college for art?
Yeah. I was going to go to Savannah College of Art and Design, and then I kind of grew this hatred of like the fine art community. And I was like, this is I can't participate in this like posturing. I'm just kind of incapable of it, unfortunately. I would probably be a lot further along in life if I could like swallow my pride and try to be a people person.
Might be a little late tonight.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've made it work out,
Hey,
so.
I seen your profile picture. That shit was funny. You think approachable.
That's the thing is like, I mean, if like in this kind of setting, like this is different. Like I'm able to just be like open and like cool with people because it's like you're paying good money to be here, and like I take that whole like I'm giving you a service for your money. I want to make sure that you're satisfied with the service.
Oh, that's a weird one.
It's just taking the job
That's it,
seriously,
like,
you know?
You can see it like.
Yeah, so that was a bubble that was working its way out and got trapped before it could fully escape.
So that's like the outgassing
Yep.
shit you guys talk about.
Yep. So like on countertops, that kind of bubble will happen from whenever you're laying out your colors and like you're working through it with like a chip brush or anything like that. You're introducing air into the mix. The Mach 1 is fantastic at like degassing itself. I mean, like none of us used a torch, and you can look and see like there's
nice.
some slight
There you go.
bubbling, but we also pushed
can
this
pan
work
that
time
over.
pretty far, and it's still outgassed.
That would rip it off,
So-
honestly.
I was gonna say, did you find out what that was? Because it looks like it's some type of like rejection, like it was like.
Yeah, I'm not
was
sure.
like-
There's so many different factors that it could be, and even though we have a warehouse full of material and then another few warehouses full of material that I can go grab, I hate whenever there's like training material open and then it just sits half used until it can't be used anymore.
Take all that Mach 1. dude.
Yeah.
We got too much of it. Take it.
I'll take some.
We'll tell you something.
Well, I mean, hey, like you're getting a credit. Remember, the cost of admission, like you get a credit for Megan's, so you can put it towards material.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yep.
What? How much credit?
I'm pretty sure. I have to go look back at Corey's post. I'm surprised nobody knew that.
No, yeah, I knew that. I'm just double checking.
Yeah, he didn't know.
I'm picking up like $2,500 worth of materials right after this.
Well, hey, take some Mach 1.
Yeah, well, I mean, should be able to take some off.
Are you talking about
I'll
like the
take like
training-
2
the
kids
training
for my
material?
sample board.
Yeah.
You know?
No, like, I guess it's a credit to the store. You can get whatever you want.
I do believe. That's what I read on Corey's post. I don't know if that changed or anything. So I mean,
I'll blame you
that's fine.
if it's wrong information. If we get a bunch of angry people saying, hey, I heard I got a credit.
What's going on here?
Mad.
All right, so while they are
Yeah.
doing what they're doing, I guess the best way to do it, because I want the camera to be able to pick it up. Well, I'm not the one doing it. I'm gonna let you come stand here.
Hey, man, go for it.
All right.
Leave the garage door open or the warehouse door open.
So real quick,
Go in and pick what you want, man.
it's always I prefer to have your color cups already ready for resin, right? You don't want to like mix up your resin and then have to spend time putting all this in. Like have it ready to go. So whenever you finish stirring, you can just run with it, right?
No, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to get some mark.
So
Well-
these little ones we spray were for the dye, you said, right? And you already put one in there.
Yep.
And you put one drop in there.
Yeah,
So am I
this has
still-
like 3. This has a decent bit more.
So am I still adding epoxy on these ones, or is that
Yeah.
for like the? Okay.
Yeah. So this is going to be for like the fine controlled brown veining. Like, so that one is not going to get very much epoxy. Like, it'll get this much because it's so pigmented. Like that'll go a long way, especially because like darker colors will overpower lighter colors most of the time. Some lighter colors are just a smaller micron and will float on top of most dark colors. It just depends on the like the variance in that micron size, right? So in this case, we're going to mix up 8 ounces. That's overkill for this, but again, it's always better to have more than not enough. You'll fill up just a little bit in here, and then all of these are getting roughly the same amount. This cup is literally just pour some clear in there, and it's always good to just have a little bit of clear that you can turn into whatever you need if something happens. It's like your backup piece, you know? Like when shit's going wrong and oh shit, like yeah, I got one on my ankle too. It's always good. It's always good to be ready. So we are going to pour this into a bucket so it's a little bit easier. Can you hand me that bucket right there? Can you hand me that one? Thanks, sir. Never trust that your bucket is clean. Always look inside and make sure there's nothing just using that static to cling in there, especially if you have like pets. Yeah, dog hair and cat hair. Love the static electricity off of these. Okay. Everyone, yesterday we were using Mach 1. That is a 1-to-1 epoxy. Today we are switching to the single shot. It is essentially the same thing as the Mach 1. The ratio is different though. It's a 2-to-1. So when you're over here, the bigger container is 2 and the smaller container will be 1. So if you're pouring 4 ounces of this, you will pour 2 ounces of this. Always pay attention to your ratio. Yeah, no, like the mixer is the most important job on a job site.
Look.
Yeah, nothing is worse than somebody handing you a bucket and they go, "What, hold on." And they turn around and look and start counting on their fingers, and it's like,
Do it again.
what? Oh no, there's been times where I've been like, I'm not putting that down. No, man, I know, I catalyze it. Okay, you second guessed it. I'm not using that. Throw it away. It's better safe than sorry. Nothing's worse than having just a random batch that was not catalyzed.
Look, man, every once in a while, I still get, because you know, the 5-gallon and the 10-gallons are like the poly.
Huh?
Sometimes I get to the end of it, I have a little bit more like hardener. a little bit more
Wait
less.
a minute.
I'm just
Where'd this extra screw come from?
Yeah. yeah. Putting back together a vehicle and going, don't think I was supposed to have 3 bolts. Where is that supposed to go again? There we go. Man. Smell that.
love those fumes.
Smells like I left a shirt outside on the deck and it got all.
Amines.
Well, I mean, I've smelled it before.
Look,
but
man,
it
we
smells
probably
like gas.
getting high off this shit, don't even be knowing. That's what the plumbers will say.
Are you just jumping in?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Before you do that, wipe those down. Wipe them. Yeah. You solve them. Wipe. Okay. All right. Good. Yeah, I mean, actually, yeah, run for it. Do it. Anybody else? If you want to go ahead and start doing your second layer, I can guide you along. I'm gonna like kind of guide you through doing this.
I know
and
I came
can
in late,
bounce.
so I don't want to.
Well, I mean, technically, like,
you know what I mean?
it's no worries. The first day was very loosey-goosey because we were trying to figure some stuff out, you know?
It's been fun.
Yeah, no, it's
super fun.
so far so good, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I want you to get yours down so we can get your second layer on that later on in the day. Because, like, I don't do those classes that are like 6 hours and that's it. Like, it's about 10 hours today. Like, we'll be here going over some stuff.
You're gonna do the clear coat right after you do his epoxy, or help him with his epoxy?
Yep. Yeah, I'm literally gonna bounce through this so much with him, and then I will just bounce over real quick
Alright, then I'll
to
just
like
wait
help
for
you
you
guys
then.
through. Actually, I mean, since Stefan's about to do it, we can kind of double team it here. I'll work with you independently, and then as he's putting that down, I'll kind of show examples of what I'm talking about.
Are you mixing any pigments for the second layer for us?
For the second layer, it'll only be a little bit of dye, a little bit of that brown dye.
Okay.
That's it.
Madden is 2-part, 1 part?
Yes, 2 of this to 1 of this. So if you're doing 4 ounces of this, it's 2 ounces of this.
Staring at it a little long. You know what you're doing over here? Staring
What's
at
that?
it.
Oh,
Staring
I was
at
just
it a
reading the
little.
ratios. They have all these
Yeah.
different ratios, either 1-to-1, 2-to-1. I was just reading that.
Yeah.
So we're doing 2-to-1?
Yep. Now we're not using the 1-to-1 column, we're using the 2-to-1.
2-to-1.
Uh-huh.
So you'd have 1, 2, and then you would do it on the next 2, right?
You're going
Why
2
not?
to 1.
So if you're going 2,
Yeah,
and then
2
you
to
would
2,
just
right?
go
Yep.
here, right?
bingo. Yeah, actually, you know what? It's amazing how many people don't know about this. So I'm going to touch on it real quick. Various mixing cups come with this handy little guide right here. And these are all the different ratios that you commonly find in, you know, multiple component coatings. So you have 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1-to-1, that's a 3 component, 4-to-1, 8-to-1, 9-to-1, 4-to-1-to-1, 4-to-1, 2, 6-to-1-to-1, 8-to-1-to-1. More often than not, we're going to be using that 1-to-1 and that 2-to-1. So the way it works is you find the line. Let's see, we know that we need roughly, we're going for about 8 ounces on this, right? So we'll look at where the 8 ounce mark is, go over to that 2-to-1. The first row is marked 1, 2, 3, 4, and then over on the second column, also 1, 2, 3, 4. You take your component that you need 2 parts of, you fill it up to that line, and then the second component you pour in, and you pour from that line to the corresponding line. So in this case, if we go 1-to-1, let's see, or 1-1, I should say. So that's 2-2. In this case, we're going to go for, we're going to have to go for that roughly 10 ounces. So in these columns, what's that? In these columns, we have, we see 8, 12, and then right here, you have 1 and 1. No, wait. Got to be careful. We're going 3 to 3. That's over 12. So we're going to go 2 to 2. Two parts of component A will be looks like maybe, let's see, that's 4, that's 8. So in the middle will be 6, roughly 7, right around there. And then to pour up to that second line, the corresponding 2 will be just right at around 10 ounces, which is definitely overkill for this amount of space, but it's always better to have more than you need than not enough.
What's the work time on the single shot?
The single shot work time, on average, you could say about 40 minutes, roughly. Yeah, you can slow it down a little bit if you work in a cooler environment, or even adding just a little bit of solvent, which technically you're not supposed to do, but you can do it. You can throw like either a little bit of ISO or a little bit of xylene, and not much. We're talking like a splash. And
It'll
like
thin it out a little bit.
it'll thin it out a little bit. It'll lay down easier for sure. But then like that has to flash out before those chains can start to form. So like it's just
So it has to flash. It has to completely. What is it? Latent solvent reduction.
There you go.
So you have to like let that flash off. Get
And
out.
whenever it's you have a decent bit of volume up on itself, like it won't flash out as quick.
Yeah.
So like there's
More
sometimes
space to go through.
Yep. So there's times where if I really want to put an accent color or like pull some veins through a floor and like I need to do it across large areas, I'll take those condiment bottles that are just clear. You can put whatever in them, and you put your epoxy catalyzed in there, and you go like 12 to maybe even 15% xylene. I get reckless with it because I know that I know what that single shot can do. I've pushed it to the point of failure, so I know right where I can get to and not have to worry. But I'll take that and with that xylene in that bottle, shake it up. Every so often you gotta shake it up. And I mean, there reaches a point where it is definitely generating heat, but that solvent is still keeping it from fully kicking off. So even whenever it's hot, like you'll still be able to, it flows, right? There reaches a point where you watch the bottle start to
Crinkle up
yeah,
and start to melt.
exactly. And that's when you go, okay, you toss it away from your general area and not towards anything flammable.
Would you like me to make a mix, Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
So what are we doing here? We just mix it up? We're doing a clear coat?
I mean,
or what are we doing?
you guys want to wait for me to walk through with him doing it, right? Or do you just want to jump in?
No, I didn't know.
Because the plan was for me to go through this with him and then jump on the clear coat.
Oh, nice. And we'll wait. Yeah.
Stefan's pretty adept at
Okay.
arts and working with his hands, so I think he's kind of got a very clear idea at what's going to
Yeah,
be
I wanna
next for
learn.
him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in this like a newbie. I don't know anything about a pot. So you said this is a 2, so I need to mix 3 ounces of this and 1 ounce of this or something that you said, right?
Well, if it was 3, it'd be 3 ounces of this and then 1.5.
I'm just saying I'm a noob.
So what's up with this epoxy? Yeah, 2 part A, 1 part B. So over here, you want to try to get right around 8 ounces. And even that 8 is too much, like it's more than you need. But with what we have on the cup, sometimes people try to like measure exactly how much you need. Like it's never a bad thing to have a couple ounces left over. So 2 to 1, we're going to come up to, if you go 1, it's right under 4, and then another part 1, that's 1 part to 2 parts, right? So that will be maybe about 5 ounces. That's not quite enough. So we have that 8, so that 2 starts there, and the other 2 corresponds at about 10 ounces. So you'll want to make sure you're looking at the 2 to 1 column. You'll pour your part A up to that 2, stop, and then you pour your part B up to that 2, and then stop. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm just kind of messing
Dude,
around.
it's crazy how many people don't realize what this is and how to use it.
No. I'm just messing around. Like I do a little bit, but I don't want to. I want you to teach me like you're teaching him.
Yeah.
I want to know, man. Like it's just good to catch. I'm telling you, bro. Like he's. Yeah. Where are you from, actually?
South Carolina originally.
Go, but
Oh, you're not that far.
you already have some ready right there.
Oh, so you poured the.
Yeah, I went ahead and just broke these down because it's harder to pour out of this than it
So
is this.
both of us will be teaching you.
Both of us will be teaching you.
Now, here's a question for you.
Yes.
Doing that second coat,
Hmm.
do I use some of the same colorings that I had on the first one, or
Absolutely.
do I try with the
Something different.
something different, like the colors we were talking about yesterday? Those,
The inks.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to make
red
it.
and, what was it, the red and the orange, or the orange?
Oh,
and
the orange and the blue.
was it
The
blue?
2 colors you picked, orange and blue.
Yeah.
There was the sunrise, and I believe it was Tahoe blue or something like that.
No, I had.
Yeah, there's
I had
Tahoe.
the Frozen. And I
Frozen
had
and
the-
Sunrise.
Yeah, Sunrise.
Yeah, I mean, really, this following layer, I tend to want, because we're treating it as a flood coat. A flood coat, I tend to stay away from putting micas in it. I'm okay with putting dyes in it, right?
Okay.
But something about having micas without like, even putting that like, ballistics top coat over there, I still just for like, my peace of mind, prefer to have that mica completely encapsulated, right?
Okay.
Just because you never know. It's
Right.
a variable that is open. Like I said yesterday, I've had situations where well water has been put on a countertop that didn't have a flood coat, and it actually caused a reaction in the mica that was still open, sitting on the top of the surface. It took in, there's iron in that water supply, so it caused this oxidation overnight. It was hot pink. So situations like that, it's like, all right, if it's remotely still open and like open oxidation, I want it completely sealed,
Okay. So this basically use the same colors that we had.
Yes.
Um,
But I mean,
along with
here's the thing though. Like, we're not putting a bunch of micas in this coat. It's literally
No.
just a little bit
Right.
of dye.
Okay. Because I'm just trying to put just a little so I can fill in.
And I mean, over here, remember we talked about, oh no, don't worry about filling in those little spots individually. You don't have to worry about filling those in by themselves.
Trying to go into that same.
Oh, you just
pattern.
cover that stuff.
Right.
Well, this is a good example of taking something that is technically a problem and making it like an accent piece.
Right.
If you remember yesterday, we discussed possibly putting some of these big, chunky pieces of
Exactly.
glitter.
That's what I was
Yeah.
saying. The orange and the purple,
Yep.
or the orange and the
Get that cracked open, and I will grab the glue.
Okay.
And as we are,
What do you think about?
there you go. Here, put just like a little bit in this. We're talking like right there. It's not much. Right there, perfect. And then these, you want them roughly the same amount. I would say right about there, maybe a third of the way up.
I know. That's why I was like
Little more?
trying to.
I mean, you,
Just make sure that you.
yeah, bounce over to like the next one, pour it up to that amount. Next one, pour it up to that amount. Just kind of go in between them. And don't forget to put a little bit in there as well. That's just clear. So just like on my sample yesterday, I put that little bit of gold flake down in there to like have those little hot spots of like flash to it. This is the same general idea. You're going to take this glue all, wherever it made its way off to, somewhere, there we go. Thank you. And you're gonna put it where you want it. Me personally, like I would say right through here, because this is kind of like that little bit of a area where it's like we want to turn it into an accent, right?
Right.
So if we put a little bit of this, yes, it is Elmer's glue wall. It's like big boy school glue. It's great. It dries really quick. You can thin it down with water, and I use it in between my coatings, doing either like little foil pops or like the gold leaf, and you just wait for it to dry to the touch and just run it. And I've yet to have an issue.
So with these, so you want to let that glue, you want to let that dry for a good
Yeah,
minute?
tack up a little bit.
Screw it,
Yeah.
and then take this thing out.
So in this case,
Oh.
you'll just put
Oh,
it.
this has got that little plastic piece in it too.
You can just put it where you want it. Just kind of go loosey-goosey with it like that, and then kind of tap it out. And
So
then
you're
take your
using that
glitter
for
and
hole filler.
yep. And take that glitter and just work it down into that surface. All right. So I'm gonna come around this side. Mr. Isaiah, teacher, sir?
One-on-one with Madden. Man, we done made it, boys.
That's weird. I do not have a very high opinion of myself. Like I'm just another person in my head. So it's like anytime people are like, I just go, okay.
That's what Corey was saying. He's like, nah, man, just play it cool, man. Just Don't weird him out.
You got to be pretty weird to weird me out. I'm a bona fide eccentric. Like I let my freak flag fly all the time.
Okay. Are these
They're basically the
this
same,
one
right?
This one has the dye. Oh, I see it at the bottom. I gotta mix it
Yeah.
some more.
Keep mixing that.
Some more. It's dyed.
And it might even need just a little dab more. Here. Put it on over here. There we go. Just a little. Wait, where are you? Are you? No? You're sepia. I don't want you. Look at that. Autopilot. Where is that brown? Where did it go to?
This one?
No. Is it in there? Oh, look at that.
I feel like he took
I'll put it back. Thanks, sir. So I'll take a little bit more. Just a little dab. Don't want too much. I mix that in, and immediately you're going to see that this cup of mica behaves completely differently than that cup of mica. So whenever you have these interactions happening between all of your different additives and your colorants, it's essentially a polarity fight. Like these things either have a neutral polarity, a positive polarity, or a negative polarity. Most commonly, earth-based, like real earth micas, will have a positive charge. Most synthetics have a negative charge, and most of the spray paints, dyes, inks tend to have a neutral charge, or like favoring neutral, maybe barely leaning into one or the other. So whenever you put, just like on my example, I showed you how it displaced those like really fine micas that are sitting on top. It pushed them over, but they still wanted to come back to their spot, so they like held in together. That's a polarity thing. The polarity of that ink pushes that away, and that's already found its home where it wants to be, so it's going to stay. But then if the difference is like strong enough, if you got like positive and negative, then you get like positive, it'll like meld together and work in harmony. So keeping that in mind, you know, like you can, I feel like you should be able to actually like change the polarity of these things. Like I'm gonna look into it more, but it sounds like some wild shit, but I'm gonna try it. In general, I like to live by the rule of it is better to place your resin than to push your resin. Like you want to have the general layout that you're going for right off the bat. It's like we'll take that cream, like say over here, we're going off of like our visual information here, right through here. This is going to be a little bit of a darker area. Through here, we definitely can use darker areas over this veining.
So since this is darker, you want to use a lighter pigment, like the darker pigment you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
So instead of like putting big globs down all over and then just like randomly pushing, you're kind of placing it with purpose as you go, right? So that's the regular, just mother of pearl. And this is the one with the ink right off the bat. You can see like, if you tilt this, you can just see how different that mica is already behaving due to the ink trying to fight it, right? So also kind of keep that towards the darker area. And then kind of follow, like you generally want a direction of movement in your pours. Because you got to think, as the earth forms these things, it is a long process of lots of pressure, and usually it's the same direction that is getting pushed as it's forming. Leave a little bit of this in the cup. So at this point, we have the brown. So we know we want to have like a darker point towards the middle of it. Can you get an idea of like our directional flow that we're going? And you can do just like little dabs here and there of it. Because what'll happen whenever you meld that all together And it's pretty purposeful. Like a lot of people, they just kind of start swiping stuff. That does work, but I prefer a more controlled method. So, oh boy, I'm glad I took my meds. I won't have this mistake happen again because I'm gonna make them now. We have chip brushes. This is my preferred brush whenever it comes to working in resin. They do tend to shed a lot. So what you do is you take it out of the package. The Home Depot brushes are pretty decent quality. Harbor Freight is very much hit or miss, and there's a few on Amazon that are pretty solid. Like, it's amazing. You rewind 15 years ago, chip brushes were actually pretty decent brushes, and now it's like half the amount of bristles. So you see like all that stuff that's shedding out of there. Now it's slowing down. So you do that, take some quick cure super glue, and you run your super glue bead right along the bottom of the bristles where they touch the metal.
Oh, wow.
Now you don't have to wait for this to cure all the way. And if you want it to cure very quickly, which I did not consider yesterday, you can take a little bit of ISO and just go splash.
That actually accelerates it, huh?
Yeah. If you use water, it flashes instantly, but you have water on your brush then, and you don't want to introduce that to your resin. So always good to have a chip brush on hand. Also, flat blades are one of my favorite tools to do this stuff, period, even on floors. So you get these little value pack little flat blades, and you just meld together. You can kind of keep that directional flow. You can already see that you can absolutely see underneath that light colored resin. The color information that you've put on your primer is translating through. So do you see how I'm not pushing stuff that far? It's literally like I'm passing over stuff and just barely melding together. Like in this case, see, we have all this expanse before we have that connection between that brown and that cream tone. In those cases, you can kind of meld it over. You'll see how that dye, or I'm sorry, that mica that got pushed down by the dye, it's like sitting on the bottom, right? So like no matter what, whenever you move that, you're going to have that little bit of visual information still there, and it's pushed down with micas on top of it. So you can come right up to it.
Yeah, man, we have to let you go. No, it definitely doesn't have nothing to do with the files.
And looking at this, I would already say for sure, we're gonna take this one, and you're gonna take a hefty amount of that mother of pearl and put it in there. Like, remember before it was like two teaspoons? Go for like three or four.
You know, it's strange. You want to teach everybody or the YouTube fans about the brush next time.
Yes, absolutely. I keep forgetting that there's a
whole nother.
I don't even know who's watching or how many people are watching. Or how many of them are going, huh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. So as I'm going through and hitting with that model, like this is called mottling, that kind of chop, you don't want to go into the brown and then immediately come back out into the creamy tones. If you get a little bit, it's no big deal because it'll just kind of disperse itself, but it can very quickly overpower it and start making it very muddy, right? So like as you're working your resins together, you want to keep that creamy tone kind of with the creamy tone for the most part, and then get all of that established. We got some of that, hell yeah. We're gonna put a little bit of it through here and some up through here.
Too thick? Is that good?
No, that's good.
Good. He said through here.
Like right in there. Yeah. We're also going to come over here, get a little more opacity to it. Nice. So when you take the time to do that little bit of glue on the bristles, you're able to move this chip brush through much quicker, and you'll still get some, you know, bristles here and there, but I mean, just about any paintbrush you use will end up doing that, you know. So if you can take that little bit of time to seal them in place, these little cheap brushes become a lot more of a tool than a hindrance.
Honestly, Corey might just sign the company over here.
Yeah, that's exactly how I wanted to play out. Right there. Right there.
All right.
That's controlling the interior footage. Oh shit, look at you.
So right off the bat,
You copied me.
yeah, cool.
I did that yesterday.
So we have this little bit of this mica, a little bit of mica, and a lot of that dye, right? It's heavy on the dye. So say you want a little bit of extra color breakup through, like over here, where we have that vein underneath. If we go and trace generally in the same vicinity of it, and you can kind of connect it to things. So things that you see visually on the bottom layer, you can kind of connect to the layer that you're putting down currently. Because whenever you're seeing depth in these stones, you're seeing these formations that dive down into the stone. So you just kind of treat it as it's the same thing. You have that visual information. You know that's where it's supposed to look like there's veins, so put some veins in that same general vicinity. And then once you do that little bit of melding and working it together, even if it doesn't line up exactly, you still have that visual information underneath it. So it looks like the vein dives down into the stone. So like over here, this is a good,
I didn't realize how much that ink pops up under the yellow.
oh yeah.
I covered all mine with the dark. And if I left them with the yellow, I mean, I just see it pops crazy. Anything that looks like a bluish almost tone.
Yeah, whenever you start layering stuff, that's when that color theory really starts coming into play.
That looks great.
Yeah, I should have came on the second day. Good thing we have a live recording of who did it. You can't brag on us now.
I'm getting to like sign the bottom of it and like
Sell it.
find it in like
So far, really the only like, there's been a little bit of like pushing, you know, or I should say gliding together. There's been some chopping and pushing your main tones in the same general vicinity, and then you're gonna start working all of this stuff together. Like remember that this has dye in it, and it can very quickly start to muddle and overpower. So you wanna keep your brush in the same general vicinity. Like right now, this is just taking like kind of chunky veining and just dragging it through. Like you can see how that lighter, finer mic is like really sitting on top of that brown right there. That is perfectly fine for now. But as you pass your brush through it, if you keep that linear motion, so like I'm not going this way, like everything I'm doing is like haphazardly directional. And even just passing through this creamy mica, you're taking those finer micron pieces and you're essentially orienting them to have that directional flow. So even as this settles down and it's nowhere near as defined, you'll still see these little kind of like veins that has directional flow to it.
I just want to see it.
One thing that I've learned is that all your detail is in the first layer.
I got some in my pocket too. I'll see some on my hat.
What do you think so far?
I like it, man. It's okay. I think I want to like take some more and like put some more on those.
Some of the veining?
I like that. I like the blue and or not the blue, the brown.
Yeah.
On this. I like that. I like that.
So yeah, over here we didn't hit that yet. So like anytime you're putting a vein down in, if it's still like really early in this work time, it has a lot of flow, you generally want to agitate it somehow to like kind of integrate it in, kind of lock it in place, right? So at this point,
Yeah, that's what I did.
I'm going to hand it over to you. You can do whatever you want with it.
Don't touch it.
Ah, he can do, hey, we got the basics.
I know, right? I got to touch it at least a little. Wasn't gonna just sparkle.
All right. You know what I think would look really good
It's interesting how
over
he
this?
does,
that mica spray, that white mica spray. I think that would be really good over that, or even potentially like a white dye, because white dye you can get a really cloudy, wispy effect out of it.
How much of the white dye can you do? Because it looks like
You can go heavy. Yeah, I mean, you can go up to, like, that's one of those 10% by volumes. Like, you don't want to put too much of it because it can inhibit your cure. And it'll definitely slow down your work time. Like, you get more work time out of it. Let's see, we got charcoal, got medium gray. There we go, white. Do you have any left over in here? Very little.
Very little.
I can make that work though. So, in situations like this, did you put any kind of like breakup in it at all? No, just sealed it.
I just sealed it. Because I'm worried about like just getting to know the bonding of the layers.
Yeah, I get it.
Like the art will come.
the art will come.
The art will come.
It will come. That's what I was saying when I
But
took
that's
this
what-
painting class for the first time. I remember being, oh, I messed up. Oh, I messed up. I kept calling the instructor over. Oh, look what I did there, you know, because we were like copying something. And he's like, it's fine. You just, if you don't like it, you just fix it, you know. But I was like, oh. About the third class in, I finally was like,
Oh wait.
I just was zoned in.
Yep.
Like I wasn't thinking about it anymore.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I've ever felt my brain not have thought.
It is the closest thing to Zen I can
No,
possibly
yes,
get.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I just was literally just doing the thing, and it didn't really matter what it looked like. I just kept messing with it anyway.
Yeah.
So I kind of was able to understand that whole art thing,
So,
getting in the zone.
This is a very, very light amount of that white because there was not very much in here. See
Yeah,
that-
it's
see
going
that
for
kinda
that
like
sort of.
striations.
that
So
sort
what
of,
you would do
fusion sandstone
is
look.
get just a little bit on the popsicle stick, and you're going to want to kind of go with that general directional flow that you're going for. But you want to kind of like frame this and like leave little reveals, right?
Yeah, I did only
Okay.
one corner piece.
And you see how it's already getting that like kind of wispy, cloudy look to it?
Yes.
Yeah. Like whenever people have like,
I think it's like
So you mixed
he had
white
a little
in
bit
there?
of craters
yeah,
and that epoxy.
Just a
coat
little
was
bit.
right with it.
White dye or white?
white dye.
Right out.
Okay.
So you
Yeah,
know,
the same ones that
Oh, like the pig,
you
the
sell from
liquid
Megan's.
pigment, okay.
Yep.
what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put a clear on it, like he's doing. in
So-
those areas.
So you said you
Some
wouldn't do a
some
mica
blue,
in your
some
top
brown
layer,
on it.
right?
I mean, you can, but it's
you
just
personally
me
won't.
personally.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of it's too like just living in the area that I do and having
Okay.
so many people have well water.
Mhm.
It's like you realize, like, okay, this is a factor. So to just avoid that potential issue altogether, like I do give people the option to not have that flood coat if you know if it's not in your budget and you want to knock off like a few $100. I mean, up to sometimes depending on the space, it could be like $1,000 that that person's going to save, and you let them know the risk involved with it. There you go, sir.
Yeah.
And if they sign off on it, then so be it. But at least you
would do a liquid pigment.
yeah,
See, no
liquid.
problem
I
with
don't
liquid,
like
right?
as long as it's like food safe and stable. You know, like there's some liquid pigments that I would still want to go over and actually seal, but all of these are light, fast, and archival. Like perfect example, he had a lot on this canvas, and I wiped it down with ISO in a cloth, right, and it pulled up very, very little of that dye. Like it, and that's 99% isopropyl. Like it stayed right where it was. So like I know that one, it's good. Especially if you're getting like a top coat of like Counterattack or Black Label or Squire 2.0, whatever you prefer to use on the countertop, it's definitely not going anywhere. But over time, with that use, as that microcoating does eventually, degrade, and people go, oh, so it doesn't last forever. No, of course not. You have to maintain these things, and it is literally a sacrificial coating. This whole function is to take the abuse, give way whenever it's taken enough, and then you replace it. So knowing that that's there in between, our world and this little resin kingdom here, that's okay. But micas, I'd just rather not risk it.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Because I mean, sometimes like some of the micas that I use, like I would have to dig and send multiple emails to try to get the technical data sheet on it.
That's why I was like,
And they don't even technically have to list what's in there. They could call it proprietary whatever. And then it's like, it's literally a mystery. You don't know. So you don't know what you're leaving open on that surface to have a reaction to a million different factors, Like there's so many things that could come in contact with it that could cause a reaction.
One thing I wish I had done on this is like, instead of like making my veins so big, like I wish I'd have broken up the veins
Yeah.
along the edges.
He's like sick though, right?
Yeah.
They're
which
really prominent.
I mean, if you went over this with a slightly more opaque cream base, or just like kind of close to that like peachy kind of tone that you got, it's like a sepia. It's like a nice amber. I like that tone. That's nice.
That's a little bit of the dye.
Yeah.
So I would
And
say
the
like,
papaya, you used papaya, didn't you?
I use papaya and I also use mother of pearl.
Okay. All right. I see it now. Yeah. That's a nice combination.
I was going through for that sort of
Looks like a desert stone.
sands, like that sandstone quartzite fusion
Yeah.
sort of.
that is
Yeah, you nailed it.
awesome through there.
Yeah, when it comes to stuff like that, just having like a little more opacity with what you're putting over it, you'll be able to put that breakup in that, and it'll just visually translate down to like, there's breakup there. That's why more often than not, like, sure, like if I see a space and I know I want some hard divisive, like, fractures running through it, I'll hand paint them like that on the base. But more often than not, I'm using the spray paint and the that torn edge, and just kind of ghosting it in.
Okay. Yeah.
This is just always good to know that you can do this and have that visual information and kind of a map to follow with your steps down the road. Because like people would see me like literally start mapping stuff out. Like, I mean, you can take pencil or like an acrylic paint marker and just kind of trace stuff out. And they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I'm plotting. What do you mean? What am I doing? How do you not do this?
Doing more sparkles.
I'm committed, bro.
There you go.
I'm committed to the sparkles.
What up, man?
Nice.
You like it? I
I
haven't
dig
really
it.
changed too much. All I did is kind of add some veining.
Yeah, yeah.
Veins.
Veins. I dig it.
But yeah, man, I'm 100% taking credit for this. I'm gonna no bullshit though.
Hell
man.
yeah.
Like to see how far you've done your stuff too. Like I think I really I might like get it like laminated, bro, and just like no, dude, like actually like hanging up, bro. Like Madden actually touched this.
If you could sign on the back to my #1 fan.
You got it. Absolutely.
No, I know there's some there's some really,
Yeah, that's what I
really
wanna
crazy
do.
fanboys out there.
What's that?
I'll be all in the inbox.
Get these
I'm a fan
veins
now.
where they're not so like.
Oh, dude, there's some straight weirdos in this industry. For real, like.
Cause I've seen him like message them before, like they make a big post. He's like, look, he's like, I don't have time for you.
Live viewers, I am antisocial. Like, legitimately, I am antisocial. Whenever it's something that I like and I find people that are interested in the things I like, I open up and I love that interaction. But other than that, get the hell off my lawn, leave me alone. Like, just, I don't get it. Like, on one hand, I'm like, always like, oh, that's nice to hear. Like, when someone's like, oh my God, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, all right. Drop it now. Like,
Few friends that I can actually speak to.
yeah. No, I tell
If
Corey,
anything.
that's like,
Yeah.
there's very few people I can just genuinely open my head to and not be worried that I'm gonna get fucking committed. Like, yeah, look at that. I was even gonna come over and mention to you, kind of taking that white and doing some veining, some wispy stuff off of it. You already went and
It's
did it.
almost like an airflow coming over the mountains.
Yeah.
There you go.
that kind of thought you just had, that's the kind of stuff that I'm running through my head all the time when I'm doing. I'm thinking of just stuff that inspires certain looks, sunsets, you know, lightning, you know, like waves on a lake with like, you know, light
Shimmer.
reflecting off of it. Like I'm always visualizing other stuff and trying to kind of translate it in to the stone. I would even, if you have any more of that, I would take this white down just a little bit and kind of like work it down near that brown, since that's like a pretty prominent area.
I got that blue that comes through here.
Yeah, and like
right down towards the
leave that blue
yeah.
showing.
So with this flood coat, you know, if I put any more detail in it, I would have to have another.
You don't have to. You don't have to. My method, I prefer to. But yeah, I mean, like right now, if you're sitting here looking at this and like you still have open working time, and if you're like, man, I think it'd look really good if I had some of this, you can literally take straight ink and put it on the resin and work with it. Or you can do that little salt bay thing where you pinch and like really place it exactly where you want it to go. Like, it's nice to have just a clean, open coating, because like you can just sit there and look at it and just imagine different stuff across it. Whenever like you have that vision pop in where you're like, oh no, that would look good, you can just do it. You just have to use the right stuff doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to take the universal liquid pigments. Like you wouldn't want to put that directly on the board and then melt it together. That would be too much of that. It wouldn't cure it. Yeah, like if you're mixing a small amount in with like, you know, a little bit of resin, that's okay. But like you can't take this and just put it on there and then chop it in. Like there are situations where more than likely you'd be able to work it in enough to where it won't cause a problem, but it's not worth that risk, you know? But at the same time, there's plenty of other, you know, white inks as well. There's white India ink and, you know, like white shimmery iridescent speedball ink. So that's the kind of stuff that you can just go directly on top of this and just work it in. Yeah. Control. People try to tell you that you don't have control over this material. What they mean to say is they don't have control over this material.
Or you can like edit it out, edit the parts from Madden Wolf, like touch it up.
You use the brown at all?
You have to send that to me so I can post it as well. I'll be like, wow. 2 hours into the first class and look at this already. Ooh. So like looking at what I see on here right now, I see some spots that could very much benefit from, is that just the ink? Which one's the ink? Is there any left?
I kind of did a dirty pour for the edges.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't know if you're gonna
Well,
use
here,
that.
actually, no, it's good. We can just take this, we're gonna put a bunch of ink in it. Because again, this ink does not have to be in a carrier that dries to solidify it. It will do it on its own. So you can go pretty heavy with it. You don't wanna go insane because you might inhibit your epoxy, but. So it's already getting very close to the consistency that we need. You want to wait till it's hitting that point where it's starting to slow down. Like it's still working pretty well, it's flowing. So like you don't want to try to do fine veining with this yet. You want to let this kick off a little bit more.
Okay.
And because it does have that liquid in it, it'll start working its way into the gelling phase, and that gel phase is really stretched out. So like it'll have this consistency of like room temperature honey for like 10 or 15 minutes if you keep stirring it at that point. If you let it sit on top of itself, it'll kick off decently quick. But if you keep it moving, you can keep it in that state where you can just, it's perfect for like dragging fine veins. And when people see it, like it's one of the first things that people are like, how do you do that? And it's like patience. That's just patience. Being able to move quick, like kind of like I said, you repeat certain actions again and again, and literally what's happening is like the electrical signal that your muscles are sending to your brain, it gets wired more and more and more into that neural pathway. You're essentially carving neural highways for certain motions. So having all of those hundreds of hours of just like hand doing, like, and using airbrushes to paint veining on makeups and monsters and toy design stuff, it's like it's just locked in there. All right, so some of us went ahead and jumped on to the next layer. Ooh, I like this. This is a good example right here. If you walk, and unfortunately, YouTube, I'm sorry, this is wet, so I can't take it. If there's, Justin, do you have a free roaming that you can click into? That's it? Okay, no worries. I'll show you later. You can see, if you catch the light in the sheen, you can see that you have these divots over and a decent bit of micro bubbling. I'm not sure if you gave it did you wipe it down really well with solvent? Okay.
3 times.
Yeah, I mean, also, unfortunately, right in the training area, we have these 2 big things just pumping air out all the time. I'm gonna figure out some kind of solution for that. But you can see that, that divot in the sheen, right? Because there wasn't quite enough material to completely encapsulate those big old chunky glitters. That's no big deal. You could technically mix up more right now, or wait for this to like gel up that little bit and run another coat of clear right over it. Some resins you can't do that because it'll cause crazing as the resin underneath is going through its cure process. It's kicking off so much gas and so much shit that it's trying to expel out of itself that it will affect the layer that you put on top. So you have to wait with some of them like so far into that curing process, then you can jump on it. Mach 1's very forgiving though. If you have to have an issue with like, I wait till it tacks up and starts running and I go right back over it. As long as you're not like being rough with it and really like introducing any kind of pressure to the surface underneath it, you're good. So for like flood coats and stuff like that, it's great.
How long afterwards?
Let's see, if you get about, if you're really still moving it, you can get up to like an hour and 15 of work time. That's Madden work time. TDS says like 25 minutes. But I like to push this stuff. After that hour and 15, I would say hour and a half, let it sit, let it do its thing. And then at that point, walk over. It should be like, it should still be soft, right? But like whenever you touch it, just barely, like I just did there, because I'm on autopilot, my bad. Duh. Whenever you touch it, like you don't want it to like, if any does stick to your finger, if it's like gooey honey or something, let it wait a little bit longer. Let it get to that point where you can tap it. It's still soft, but it's not coming up with you.
And then that's a good time to tap.
Yeah, yeah. But it's one of those things of like, you get so used to being kind of aggressive with how you're tooling your epoxy, whether it be the brush, whether it be you're pulling veins through. Like whenever you pull in veins, like more often than not, it's like you literally kind of put it on the surface, I'd like to try to just barely skate in that resin. Like I'm not trying to put any pressure on it, So having a soft hand, you're able to jump on that second coat really quickly. But it can create a disaster if you're in the zone and fail to remember that that one's fragile and you like mar it somehow. Like now you got a real fun problem, You have to do yet another layer to hide that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you just bought yourself like so much more time.
I love
I don't
this.
know, Madden. Mine looks somewhat better than yours.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have rejection issues, so that's definitely an upside. Man,
That's interesting.
I quit.
If I took some more of that white, go along some of these silver areas to make kind of like a cloud
I think that looked great.
brush, kind of like what I did over here.
Yeah, I think that looked fantastic.
And
And that white should be getting right
Yes.
about that point. There we go. See this? This is where
That
that's,
would look cool. Kind of like that.
Where it's kind of springing back on itself.
that's fine veining right there. That's what you want. See how it's just slowly, like it's still moving, but it's slow. This is when you want to really pull those like fine veins with your like inks or like liquid pigments. It's
So you want that viscosity.
that's the money right
Yeah, like a
there.
mini orgasm.
Yeah, that was nice. Dude, so many years of like working with resins and like it was always mold making, casting, like it is still the same materials, just a completely different application. And like I've really quickly realized the difference between a quality resin and like a bullshit resin, you know? So like when I work with a good quality resin, it does something to my brain where I'm just like, this is satisfying. Like,
So what do
it's
you
that control.
Like, in like in a bind or something? Do you have to like use other resins?
I mean, more often than not, I'm able to get bulletproof wherever I need it, you know? And I've been out of town in like Minneapolis doing a project out there. It was like I had, you know, a skid sent out. It was sitting like waiting for me. And I ran into like a slight issue, right? And I didn't have the resin that I needed to fix the problem a certain way. But I remembered that every Michaels on the damn planet has UV resin. It's used for jewelry, but it's UV resin, and it's about a 30 to 2-minute cure, right? So I went through and did certain repairs and spot cured each one of them, and then continued on with my system. And like whenever I put the top coat on top of that, it just disappeared. Like you don't see it. Yeah. So I mean, there are times where you have to you have to MacGyver it. You know?
I wondered that since there's been a couple times where I've been out on a job, and you know how you'll do a coater and you see like a little like a hole or something, so
Yeah.
it fills in. And in a bind, I was out in the middle of nowhere. The only thing that was close was like a Harbor Freight and Tractor Supply, and I got some of that.
JB Weld.
No, it was their like epoxy, like their little, you know, those little tubes.
Little tiny
The
tubes,
shit that,
2-part.
you know, cooks up pretty quick.
Yeah.
I put that shit in the holes, man, and every once in a while,
It works.
I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm like, shit.
No, it's the compression strength on most of those like 2-part like hobby and like home repair epoxies. They're pretty solid. They're good.
Oh man, I never like thought of that.
Yeah, they're real hard.
Yeah.
Out in like in Culpeper somewhere in the sticks, bro. You
Yep.
know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes you just have to work on the fly. It definitely does happen.
That looks sick, bro. I see what you're going for. I think that's actually pretty cool.
Hey, here,
Like
actually.
that.
And you're not afraid to like.
Matt, where are you gonna set up yours?
I guess we'll move his to another spot so I can.
You want to do this area here?
That would be pretty
We
nice.
can probably move with obstacle sticks.
Or we could put it over here too. We could put it over on that desk. Just, throw some plastic down. You have me sign it, and then like right above it or right below it, be like, so it's my signature, and then he writes, "Did not do this." Later on, towards the end, I'll kind of go over some of the like more artsy, like real artsy stuff you can do with it.
Are we gonna do the board or no?
Which board?
Remember yesterday we talked about the board and maybe like a bigger board, try to do the design I'm doing?
Yeah, hell yeah. Actually, I'll pull that out. Once we get past getting that clear coat
While setting.
on there for you guys, we can set that up over here. And like I said, like we'll use fast cures, so we're able to do it quick and do the whole thing so you get an idea. Fast cures do not design as well as like a regular cure, but I'm pretty quick with it. I can show you the general idea.
I would prime that board right after I'm done with my clear, or does that not need prime?
No, I mean, if we're dropping MRAP on it, like it's whatever, you know? Because more often than not, like the concrete that you're going to be starting on, like it's already 12 different colors and patch material, and like it's, you know, it's uneven mess. So like you're using that first bit of MRAP. Well, if you're doing an independent moisture vapor barrier, it's just the resin. But if you're doing like another body coat, that's whenever you can start throwing dyes in it, you know, these universal pigments, and really start like opaque surface for you to start on.
What are the ratios for the universal pigments?
Universal pigments, the average rule of thumb is that 10. You want to keep it under 10% by volume.
Okay, so really it's just anything that's compatible with the epoxy, you want to keep it 10% below volume.
Yeah, that's the average rule of thumb. You shouldn't.
Of volume.
Yeah. I mean, in some of them, like absolutely, you can go up to 20%. I mean, you can really pile some shit in this stuff, as long as it doesn't really get in the way of like the molecular action that's happening.
Yeah.
You know. Like, I mean, I've literally, because somebody told me like you can put too much mica and epoxy, and I mean, like, yeah, technically they're right, but I mean, there's never a situation where you would be creating like kinetic sand with mica and epoxy. Like, you don't put that much in there, you know? Makes no sense.
Yeah, kinetic sand is fucking weird.
But some of it, some additives, if you go too far over that 10, you're essentially creating a situation where it's unstable and it oxidizes. Even though it's encapsulated, it oxidizes faster. So like if you use too much of certain white pigments, it'll amber so much faster.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, like people don't realize there's not that many white pigments on the market that are truly light fast and UV stable, you know? Like
I'll take the risk.
a lot of them, they'll amber over
Not a
time.
problem.
I learned that one the hard way on this fancy kitchen that I did, and it has like this beautiful pastel, I call it unicorn vomit, because it looks like if you gave a unicorn like a bowl of cereal and it like slurped down the milk and it threw up. It's like just nasty, like pastel, like it's not nasty, it's beautiful, but like it just looks like, wow, like a Snapchat filter. You open your mouth and a rainbow pours out. But like it stayed absolutely gorgeous for like 2 years. And then the mica itself, some of the white mica I used, it ambered. I mean, like it's not like horribly yellow. It's like the one that's out in New York, the one that like the middle island's like that big crazy nebula thing, and then the outer countertops are like this pastel. Yeah, the actual mica itself ambered. That was actually one of the last things I used stone coat for too, because that was right around the time they changed the formula.
Hey, Madden,
Yeah.
do we mix our purity? Just have us
Yeah, if you feel like you're,
Are you ready to go or no?
yeah, make sure everybody like pass a hand over, make sure it's not any like nasty little chunks.
Should we wipe it out?
Feels good. After what?
Just touch your
No, I mean, unless you're like a really oily dude. No, you're good. Some people, you never know.
I like yours as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, all that's good to go.
Remember that guy the night or the morning we opened? He came over and put his hand right on the fucking
Yeah.
countertop.
Yep.
And then he also stepped on that piece in there.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Get him.
It was like somebody sent him over here to like
Just mess your
shit up.
stuff. Good Lord. Honestly, like as petty as this industry is, that wouldn't surprise me one bit, unfortunately.
That's what I did. Make it limit.
All right, so as we're doing these clear coats over, you know, like if you want to get into like a variation that you feel like is going to like benefit your piece, have at it. Explore the color options that we have. In general, whenever I'm doing this kind of look, I use that next coat. Predominantly, it's mica free, right? And I usually use just a little bit of ink. So if you don't want to use the brown ink, we also do have, I've got quite a few different blue dyes with me. So like I see this.
I should use a blue.
I mean, I see it and I think it looked good.
You should use the blue too.
Hell no.
Or
He's going
purple.
with purple.
Or purple.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Alright, I'll use the blue then.
I like prints. I
And you
love
don't
purple.
want too much of it. You just want a tiny bit of it, huh? Just for your
No,
face.
I mean, like, same amount, like whenever we had like the little bit that was the the dye in just a little bit of mica, like that fine.
Like this much?
Yeah, we're talking like that.
Like a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you want to
Little over
go
the bottom.
you want to go heavier with this. Like you want to pour this one at like roughly 3 ounces per square foot. So this is 1 foot by
18 or
1.4. No, 1.
I think it's like 2 feet by 16 inches.
Yeah, no, yes, 12 inches by 16 inches. That's 4. That's a third. That's a third. So just call it
That is just so
roughly
cool.
2 square feet. The markers on our container, that ratio, it comes out to like right around 10 ounces. So run the 10 ounces, make your little bit that you're going to use to do the veining and everything, put the rest of it on there and just spread it out. Like don't take it over the edge just yet. Like you'll work it up to the edge and then just let it sit for a minute.
I thought the epoxy just like fell over.
Ooh,
wait,
yeah.
Or not really.
So is he gonna?
Yeah, what happens since like it's so chunky?
So what's going to happen is this next coat is going to lock that in place, and you're going to have some of it showing
Sticking up.
above,
Yeah, like mine.
which is no big deal. Same
Yeah.
thing, like the benefit that your pour will have from having this kind of dimension and depth in it is worth the couple extra layers you're going to have to
Yeah,
do.
hell yeah.
But I mean, like, if you do the same general thing that he did with the white over here, some kind of like wispy breakup
That's
over
what I
it,
want. I want
oh,
this
that's
white, like,
money.
shit. Come
People
on,
see that and they go,
nice.
like,
That's
you,
what I
you
mean.
know, like middle-aged women, when they see something like it, they go, like, I've heard grown men go, ooh. It's like, yeah, I know, it's pretty, right?
So would you recommend just using the white pigment to draw those lines or whatever?
Yeah, I mean,
Like mix up a small batch of white pigment and epoxy?
yeah, yeah. That white universal liquid that Megan's has is fantastic for creating that wispy, cloudy
Really?
breakup over things.
And then the rest of it clear? Or
Yeah.
you were saying like purple dye? You were talking about dye.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to do
So
like a
get,
little bit of
white
purple
and
in there
dye
too.
and,
Yeah, I mean, you could have like that white, say it's kind of cloudy, right? And it
Yeah.
like breaks through and like shows some of this off. You could take that white over, and then as it's like connecting to certain veining, like you have that purple there, so you could literally do purple as well and work it into that white. So you're gonna have the white, the purple, and then you're gonna have like the mixture of the two together. And that'd look pretty sick.
Okay.
Like that'd look,
I was thinking about like kind of like making it like kiss into like highlight these like breakthroughs.
yeah, I mean, you could do that too.
Okay.
And what's cool is like, I'll show you an example on mine. Since YouTube viewers, you're not really able to exactly see at the moment. As we're going into our second coat on this, I let everybody kind of just have fun and pick what they want to do with it. Like Stefan over here just did a just straight clear coat, just flooded it out. Then over here we have some blue glitter. We have like violet glitter. It's like really big, chunky, iridescent. Like once that's encapsulated in that epoxy, that's going to look like it's a pocket of like crystals, like a geode inside this piece of stone that we're creating.
Are you saying?
Yo, man, I really like how you're like the pace of everything. I like how you're kind of like doing like, you know what I mean?
Bouncing around that little bit.
Yeah, kind of the one-on-one with everybody. Kind of everybody's doing it. Their
Yeah,
own pace.
trying to
That's cool.
like some stuff is like everybody has to like do it together, or everybody just has to like sit and watch. But
I know, bro. Like,
there's a good bit of it where it's like just let people play and do their thing. Like one thing that I can remember from teachers growing up was I loved the ones that would guide me, but let me do my thing as well. Like I want you guys to play around. Like I'm showing you the basics, and the whole idea is for you to take the logic that comes with that and keep pushing it. You know, like you take that logical, okay, if this and this cause this reaction, I can use these same materials in a different color and get a similar reaction, you know? But most people are really bad at critical thinking like that. right, over here we got some bright red. We got some Bombay orange and yellow. What is that? Ew, it's like a fucking...
A scooter. Piece of weave.
I do believe my additional blues are in the truck, so I'm going to hand Justin my microphone really fast. I'll BRB YouTube. See, this is where we need like waiting music.
go. Hello, tubes.
I'm checking the comments. Hey, Ma. My wife's watching. My fine wife checking me out. And Coding Central said, "Hey, Isaiah." Who's on the Coding Central page? Is that you, Justin, or is that Corey?
Must be Corey.
Hey,
Or Megan.
quit hanging out in the Cybertruck, man. Your little mobile office. Come inside.
Look, I Google Lens.
Whoa. Are you serious? That's so cool. I gotta show you this. That's wild. All right, so Stefan over here said literally that he was trying to make his based off of like a fusion quartzite, right? Without reference, he poured this and then he searched it with Google Lens, and the AI overview that comes up is on fusion quartzite. You nailed it. You fooled the Google.
That's
Excellent.
crazy.
That's sick.
That's fun.
Yeah, I wonder if I can do that with my Labradorite. I'm pretty sure Corey has the original sample that I did of that Labradorite. That one that has like that really hot flash in it, where it like, yeah. We're gonna be getting into that. Like, listen, a lot of the contractors are going to watch this and think, pshaw, nobody needs to do all this artistic crap. Sure, they're right. If you're boring and dull, I'm not. So I'm gonna show you guys how to lay things in that will give you not just shine and reflection, but lots of colors in that shine and reflection. So many of the natural stones that people seek after have this. It's the iridescence, it's the striations, it's the depth, it's what makes expensive stone so expensive. This is actually
Oh yeah, look at that.
the canvas piece that I have over there. If you catch it in the right lighting,
Yeah.
you can absolutely see that shining through all the layers above it. It's just like this hot, like, the only way I can put it is like ghostly neon purple and pink. Like these formations that are in there, like crumpled up, like the light hits it and it just shines through everything. It's nuts. Really cool.
Which ones are really, they both the same?
So, YouTube viewers, if you are watching, I appreciate it. I know it's probably not as entertaining as being here in person, and unfortunately I can't just cater purely to your experience because I'm also here in person. But I encourage everyone to come and check this place out in person. And if people have questions, I don't know if the live comments will remain. I'll be able to go back and look. I'm pretty sure this will just be remaining. So if you have a question, I'll check the comments every so often and I'll try to answer your questions.
I like the crisscross. It almost looks like broken quartzite.
Yeah, that looks sick.
Crystalline structure.
Yeah, I mean that's actually really nice contrast to have your accent piece have that striation in it. You have this, and that's like meeting perpendicular. That's awesome.
I really
That
like
looks
this.
really sick.
It'd be like cool to do like a asteroid top, like a asteroid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How they cut this asteroid like
Yep.
with a laser. It's almost like what that looks like. That would be cool to do like asteroid freaking. Or, I'm sorry, meteorite countertops.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can put actual pieces of meteorite in it. There's so many places you can
Yeah.
order it, like Smithsonian too. They have some
Yep.
big old chunks. Take a nice sized chunk and break it into smaller pieces and like use actual like meteorite in it. So compared to yesterday, when as soon as you had your colors down, you were like, is there any saving this? And remember, I was like, don't panic. Like, you're good. I promise you, it can be saved.
I was freaking out.
But I mean, look, like,
It actually looks awesome.
that's crazy. Like, the amount of depth on that is fantastic. So you took a mistake, you know, like an error that is bound to happen in the real world too. Like, I've had plenty of times where even cracking open a new thing of resin that I know there's no contamination in there. There's different environmental factors that can come into play. Like I was saying, there's some components in like concrete mixes that if it makes it into this epoxy, it will just push it. Like, that polarity is so different, it will just completely push all of it away from it. And we're talking like a grain of sand. And you'll have just little tiny speck and then like a $50 size crater around it. That's how extreme it is. And like, it can happen. You can walk away from something and everything's looking golden. You come back the next day and you're like, what happened here? And then you have to play Sherlock and figure it out and just fix it, you know?
There was a couple little spots where I didn't fix, or I didn't put anything in, and you
Yeah.
can still see it as like being that little crater.
Yeah, it's definitely dulled down. Like, you can see that tiny bit of depression above it, but it's nowhere near as defined. But also, when you're doing a flood coat and you do like, 'cause, like, so many of the different looks I pull off, like, I regularly pour, say, like on one of the countertops that I've developed this look on, there's this big area of it that, like, it almost looks like if you cut through and found like a different colored heart to a stone, you know? There's this big wide vein that runs down and it pops back on towards like the other side of it. I poured those completely separately from the other creamy tone. Like, it was gray and white, and I put like a brown border around it, like kind of fissured out. And then I let that get so far into its curing process, and then I poured that creamy tone up to it. So like in that case, because the first section has already kicked off so far, what's meeting up to it, it's not going to completely melt together. You're going to have a separation,
Right.
which is fine because visually you don't really see it if you do it right. You only really see it on the sheen. You can see that little hump in between them. So if whenever you're doing your flood coat, and we're not going through the whole process of like, I can grab a piece of countertop in the back. We have just blank countertop. I can give you guys a real world example of like working like this in somebody's home. More often than not, you're going to end up building a dam for a flood coat. Like, you're going to take 2 layers of tape, you burnish it to the side. You want to make sure it's really on there, and you know, not too high. You want like some body to it and some strength. So you go about like that, right? So it can't get pushed over too easy. And you pour that 3, sometimes you can even go up to 4 or even 5 ounces of square foot. Like, you're putting a lake on there, right? And you wait till you tap it and it is starting to do that like kind of warm honey, like room temperature honey kind of consistency.
Like this was.
And then you pull your tape and it just slowly runs over. And it'll coat your sides with a nice thick coat as well. But you have so much body on there, and as it starts to flow out, it's doing its cure, it's kicking. So whenever you have those little issues in like height and everything like that, 9 times out of 10, a good thick flood coat will hide all that. I mean, sometimes you'll still see that little bit, and it really, at that point, it gets down to your preference as an installer and what you want to sign off and put your name on and what the client wants. Some clients don't mind that little bit. Like we were saying yesterday, looking over in the kitchen section here, there's a couple of those pieces where you can absolutely see some like heightened striations because of how I did that application. Some people actually want that in their stone countertops. They want that leathered look. So in that case, it's like, sweet, yeah, no, you want textured? I can do that. You know, some of them want it completely glass. If that's the case, like, it's not that big of a deal to, if you're making a good profit margin, it doesn't take that much in materials and like sundries and masking material and all that to run one more clear coat. You're only going to lose like the cost of the materials, so maybe an extra $200 altogether. But if it gives you that crystal clear, just glass finish, it's worth it, you know?
Now, my question was, and I meant to ask you this yesterday, being as the kitchen counter and you're using this kind of stuff, heat,
So
like if a pot or a bowl or something, how much damage will
I mean,
it do?
if it's sat down quickly and is caught, it might cause like a little bit of ambering, because that's one of the factors that will accelerate the oxidation process is heat. Like I have mine at home. I did this like silver and black look, and we have a little toaster oven that's like a countertop toaster or air fryer. And whenever we're cleaning and we move everything off the counters, like you can absolutely see the square where that thing sits and kicks off heat.
Right.
Like if the whole countertop was that, like you probably wouldn't notice it, but it's from having no ambering to seeing the ambering, it's noticeable, right? So in those cases, like a lot of the ballistics coatings offer really, really high heat resistance. Like they are heat stable, like counterattacks 900 degrees, I believe. Squire's like 1400,
Yeah,
like one of them's 1400.
1200 for Squire.
So like, and that doesn't necessarily mean like, cool, that coating can take that heat. The stuff underneath it
Might not.
might not. But you know that,
I
yeah,
gotta go
no?
do some work.
Hell yeah.
That's for sure.
If you're free later on, come on by.
All right.
But yeah, you have that that thing of like the coating itself can take that heat, but you know what's underneath it might not be as stable.
Okay.
One good thing is having that coating in between. It definitely does give you more of a buffer for how long heat can be exposed before you have a problem. But in general, you don't want to be setting stuff like out from the oven or off the stovetop directly on views.
Right.
You always want to have like
Yeah.
pads and
so
stuff,
if you
know.
take something, a bowl out of a microwave
Yeah.
that's hot,
Yeah, I'd put
and
that
you
on
just set it right down on that.
I set it on a cutting board or like I forget what
Right.
they call the little cloth things, you know?
Yeah, I just wasn't sure how much heat these things can take.
Yeah, I mean, also darker tones, like that heat aspect and the ambering aspect is nowhere near as big of a deal on darker tones. On this right here,
It will show it.
yeah, it'll definitely show it in the white. But like over here, even like that blue, like you add a little bit of yellow to that blue, you're just gonna get green, you know? You add a little bit of yellow over here, like this already has like yellow kind of tinge
Like right
to
in
begin
here.
with, you know? It's like part of the actual color itself. So like there's some cases where, you know, when people want like white countertops, I immediately try to talk them into either like a micro cement or like, you know, cast it in place, like literally just give some concrete countertops and you can hand paint veining all over that and make it look like white marble. Put the right sealer on it, and I mean, until somebody's really inspecting it, it's gonna have them fooled, you know?
Right.
Especially using stuff like the Ballistic Seal Advanced, where it's like this modified acrylic and you can build up layers and it dries really quickly. So even just going directly over concrete, you can get some really cool depth and effects that are very much akin to what you see in metallics. But, you know, often people will see that's epoxy. Yeah, that's beautiful at first, absolutely. Like, I want white epoxy countertops. They don't want to listen to any logic on it at all, and I don't take those. I don't, because that's the person that is going to be calling you in 2 years going, why does my kitchen countertop look so bad?
Even though you
Why
told
would
me.
you never tell me?
It's like, we told you.
Yeah, I mean, like, that is one thing that I really drive home whenever, you know, people are asking me for any kind of ins and outs. You have to set reasonable expectations with your client. You want to make it perfectly clear what is going to, you know, prolong the use and the beauty of your countertop, what is a detriment to it, and that you will not come out of your own pocket in time to fix things that they did when you told them not to. Like, you make sure that is crystal clear in that contract. So how is everybody doing with their ooh,
Just waiting.
what you waiting for?
I feel like
A miracle?
you want to tack up, right? Like before you have to pull like thinner lines.
Yeah, that's almost getting there.
Yeah, because I was like too thick. I don't want to be that thick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
messed
mean,
up
like
too.
that might also be like the actual opacity of the white itself is heavier. But I'll show you something really cool you can do. We need a spray bottle
That's pretty close, no?
and some isopropyl, or you can even, I forget, I believe it was Rhonda from RK3 that came up with the
Just stick down this thing.
technique. It's called like the Italian drip.
The Italian drip. Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Oh, damn it, man. It's ruined.
Nope, let it go.
I'm freaking out.
I gotta move my piece.
You're right.
I'm playing.
So what is this gonna do to it, you think?
Depending on how far along it is into finding its home,
Oh, it'll tighten it up, you think?
it'll create selling off of it, but it might be too well established. Like you can see
Well, I'll pull some
little
more.
tiny spots where like it's trying, like it's barely there.
See a dabble with my finger. I want to try with this little piece right here.
Grab a spray bottle in the back so we can really isolate it. I mean, also you can take. Just do it like right along the edge for you. So one of the things about this guy is once it has really found its home, it wants to stay there. It's like you have to start messing with it really early when it's sat down and get it where it needs to go. And then you just leave it alone and let it kind of do its thing. So now that this has been just a little bit disrupted,
I mean, this is the pigment, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
And you said no micas and top coat.
my preference. That's not necessarily law. That's just
So
my
you
own.
like it to do
Madden
that,
said
like,
it's law.
Yeah,
that, like,
where it
wispy
goes
shit?
wispy and cloudy, absolutely.
you like that shit?
Yeah.
Like that?
I mean, that's something that you see in real stone, like that cloudy, like it gives this depth to it. Like it looks like it's sitting on top and hiding it, you know?
And this is from the ink, that wisp.
This is the universal pigment, the liquid pigment.
See that? Didn't sell up as much as the red one, but I did spray that with alcohol. I can't believe how the fuck did you get those effects like that? Did you get like contamination into it or something? Like was it with that red one over there? All those cells, like
Yeah.
was there stuff in it that you had to like?
That looks like alcohol.
No.
Oh, was it?
That's what I thought too.
I put alcohol ink in it. I didn't spray it with alcohol. No.
How'd you get all those cells?
I think it's the way I poured it.
Yeah? What'd you use for your colors?
I-
Were there dyes and inks in it?
I have
Or
2 alcohol inks.
2 alcohol
There
inks?
was a
That's what
metallic
did it.
alcohol ink and
Yep.
red alcohol ink.
That's what did it.
So you bought
That'll
it
create
with the
selling.
alcohol's already mixed in, or
Mhm.
you?
It comes in bottles just like this. Alcohol ink does.
Yeah,
So
like
I-
little squeeze
I brought-
bottles.
lay it
I
out.
think I've got some with me. If I do, you guys can play with it.
After I
But the
pour
only
it,
thing about
I
the
just-
alcohol ink is it's not always light fast. Like it can fade just from UV exposure. Even being encapsulated,
Even if it's
even encapsulated, it can fade. Not even can, it will. Some of them are color fast and they're good. Like they're not going anywhere. They're archival. Whenever you see a pigment say that it's archival, that means like it's formulated to stay that color. Like it's very much stable. It may change a few decades down the road, but like everything turns yellow eventually. Everything.
Everything's meant to be broken. So I used the alcohol ink in that other piece also. That did not sell at all.
So,
You want a car? I'll wait for you.
hope you don't mind me dabbling this a little bit.
So that was just my first bill here, just dissolving. No additional inks.
Did you do a tint?
On what?
Did you put a tint in your clear? Like
No.
in your process is clear?
Now this is my,
And you're doing the blue?
yeah, but I'm testing my waters. Cause I don't know, but it doesn't look bad. It's a different blue, but
No, I don't look bad at all.
Match that over there. That corner.
that one,
Yep. With the sprinkles. Yeah, match that.
I don't really sprinkle it around.
for him. Think that could be done?
It looks
Absolutely. That's sick. That's cool.
That was my grandson's, the hell is it? It was his graduation burn.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could take that photo, cut the silhouette out, like have it plotted on a piece of vinyl, do a pour to get like all those flames and everything in there, and then actually impose that silhouette of the photo on the pour. Be a really cool like wall hanger, you know?
I think we'd be
That would be
friends, though,
sick.
if we were in Kentucky.
That's,
Nah, I don't think I'll be your friend.
yeah,
I'll
'cause there's one there.
Nah, you guys sense the
Yeah,
humor, bro. I
bro,
like
it's
that.
partnering up with
Yeah.
a little bit
Some
like
cool
epoxy
shots.
franchise.
I like that.
Nah, your competition, man. I'm gonna spread rumors about you
Like, show me some of your work. I'll just like instead of doing the box, I'll just sub it to you. But like, I'm not gonna put my name in there just in case you mess up, you know.
in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Just give me a couple of them Ukrainian girls, man.
those Eastern Bloc genetics.
We'll be even, brother.
I don't like the.
They're built different.
No, have you seen them? They're beautiful. Like, in
Yeah,
all
they're built
seriousness,
different. Absolutely.
They are beautiful.
Well, dude, I mean, like the Russian Empire has been quite the power over in East Asia for a long time. So like they're like most
They genetically modified these women.
absolutely, without a doubt, yeah.
And just like bred them to be the.
Well, yeah,
selective
it's,
breed. No, I know
it's,
what you're
it's
saying,
just
yeah, I get
it's
it.
natural genetics. I mean, this is how it works.
I was part of the breeding process. Why do you think it's so cute?
But also,
You're the offspring.
but also like if you look at like kids that were born right around World War
They
II
use, like,
or
the
after
little
World War II,
there right here,
in
there.
Poland, you had obesity randomly
Long
became a
guys
problem
obese.
because for so many years there was no rations coming into Poland. They had no food. So everybody went from like eating healthy and happy to like now they're huddled up and they have nothing. So literally that trauma in the mothers genetically gets wired into the children. So even though they're born in a place of abundance of food, genetically they have been designed at that point to retain every bit that they eat in case that food disappears again. So for a long time, like you had this this stereotype of like fat Polish guys and girls, right? That's where that stereotype comes from. So you have a superpower like Russia that's just over there for eons, just dominating everything. Like, yeah, no, the Eastern Bloc genetics, they're strong.
I don't really like this.
Hey, Madden.
Yeah.
Hey, so you remember how you said the pigment slows down the cure?
Ooh, that's a fine.
Yes,
So
certain
if
ones,
you
yeah.
do
That shit was fine.
like
bro.
xylitol
No.
and pigment, is it kind of like they both
Dude,
add
you
to
do
it?
the
or you think if you
reject
did
file?
Yeah, I mean,
pigment,
Like
you
sort of
wouldn't need
breeding
that?
I mean, well,
They're
for one
like
thing,
doing
whenever
that
you
mod-
pop a
you know
little bit of
how-
xylene in it too,
Like how
the
you were saying
effects
with the
that you
Russians,
get
like, breeding.
out of like your different
Yeah, so, like,
colorants
from
are
the
even
rejects,
more
they kept taking
extreme.
away, like, sort of breed.
Like you get
I think
even
that's, like,
more
the
selling,
problem
you get
get
more
from-
lacing
Yeah,
because
the
like
batch of people that
it's
come
acting
from
as something that's thinning everything
the
down.
rejects.
So that movement that they're doing is like,
My grandma always told me
So you like that?
yeah, I pop a little bit of xylene and yeah, but we're talking like maybe a splash or two out of a whole kit. Like I don't go really heavy.
Hey, man.
I mean, I wouldn't go over 10, that's for sure. But like if I'm doing it specifically to like get more pronounced effects, it's like 2 splashes. And that's if like, you're doing like a whole kit, it'd be like 4 splashes. Half a kit, smaller batch, like just that little bit. And it makes a difference. How often I use xylene? I use xylene a lot. Yeah.
Never tried that.
Like most of the batches that I pour have a little bit of xylene in it because more often than not, I'm working solo.
Oh, you never use that when you use alcohol.
I use xylene to clean stuff. I never used it inside the
Don't get on your skin.
Yeah. Don't work around it without a respirator
You
either,
ever work with
man.
MEK?
MEKP? Yeah, that shit's vicious.
Look, when I was working, I used to mix it into this like cementation shit. Like when I used to work on the pump stations in Norfolk Naval, like years and years ago, we had to mix it with MEK. That shit literally knocked out one of our guys inside the manhole.
Yeah.
Because he like it wasn't thin enough to go
Yep.
through our sprayer, and he had to add some and just like
Yeah,
right
no,
there
it
inside
it just eats the air like it's nothing.
It's-
Dude,
it's
you use if you're working with fiberglass resin, it's a polyester resin, and the catalyst is MEKP. It's the methyl ethylene. I can't remember the K. And then that P is peroxide, so it's like a further evolved version of that. You know, it's an oxidation process, a byproduct of it. So whenever you put this in, we're talking like you have to be so exact with your ratio. Like if you go barely over, you can go from perfectly viable, good fiberglass resin to just a cup that is melting and is throwing little flaming chunks of this, like, it literally looks like a little volcano. It goes, it'll just start throwing these little flaming, like, smoking chunks. Like, it's really crazy. One time I was mixing up a big batch of this stuff, like it was a good 1.5 gallons of mix I was doing for a big mold, and I wasn't paying attention because I was way too tired. And I first sloshed through it, all that MEKP came out of the bucket and landed right here on my arm. And I was like, kept mixing. I had respirator and everything on, right? When I went outside after I finished mixing that batch, like my skin burned, but like I took off my respirator and like I'm getting some fresh air and I'm like, I can taste it.
Right into your skin.
It just bloop right into the bloodstream, and it's just leaching out into your body so much that your taste buds are picking it up. That's scary. No. I really, really like that translucent blue right there. That's sick.
Just right here?
Yeah.
He said it looks like shit. But in different language.
Said it in Ukrainian, so you don't really
No, not Ukrainian.
No,
I think I'm gonna
like
leave
that.
it. I was thinking maybe going a little bit with this white accent, but I think I'll just leave it.
I mean, if you did, like I would say, go along like the silver. Don't go across all of it. Just kind of like pick an edge and like define it.
So you did all your design besides this yesterday?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that and that right there.
Looks good, man. For Ukraine.
That's
Say
the
that
beauty
louder.
of like kind of
Oh, yeah,
mapping
so
out,
loud.
like mapping out your general design and direction in that primer coat. It gives you that depth because that visual information is still there and it's very much functional.
How
You know?
much will a little bit of white change it, like the layering? Should I do it just
Oh, I
for
mean, like,
example to see how
yeah.
big the
Honestly, yeah. Even if you just do a small amount,
You wanna do
like
it
through
for
the
me?
mill, sure.
white's on there? Can we use a little bit of your white?
Because, you know, when we
Yeah,
get
yeah.
a chance again to really kind of like, mess around with it.
Yeah.
You should have taken the opportunity to be like, no.
Yeah, that's why I use a little bit of sparkles. Like
You might be able to use some of his. You know?
yeah.
No, I just said you can have it all. I'm done with it. I'm done playing with this shit.
How dare you?
Whatever, man. What garbage?
How you feeling? What's wrong?
No, I feel good about it. It's cool.
I say I'm liking it.
I'm loving it.
We need a spray bottle for sure.
Love that shit.
Because if you put that dye down, and like right after you get it in place, you hit it with that alcohol, it'll just create this beautiful lace.
You're not doing like
It just goes.
So like this, like foggy stuff, like the fine lines, you would rather see that than like fine lines like that?
I wouldn't call those fine lines.
Okay.
I would call these chunky.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
chunky.
working. That's working into fine line right there.
Okay. So what would you rather see? Like people want that or that?
I mean, really, it depends on the look you're going for. I mean, there's plenty of stones that very much have like defined fine white fracture in it. But personally, I love that wispy effect because even here, if you're looking at this, you can see the fact that this white is sitting on top of this layer and it's actually casting a shadow
How'd you get it?
on
How'd
the
you
mica
do it?
underneath
Because
it.
I'm like trying to get it over here. It's not really
So
doing it. I feel
you
like.
just tap in it and then just work away from it.
Okay.
Like you don't have to be very heavy with it. I'm barely putting it in there, you know. That's what he said.
What'd you say? What's
There's
going on?
enough white for both of us.
I was gonna do white. It's gonna be great.
You don't like white stuff?
Yeah, of course I do.
You even see like just taking it and kind of swooping it over, like it just creates this like wispy, and you have a pretty good opacity because it can be very much defined and have like defined veining, or you can get just that kind of wispy effect, and you see that a lot in marble, especially like precious stones, like gemstones and shit.
Okay. I feel like I gotta look at more stones. I'm not really.
I mean,
I'm not seeing the vision here, but I get it.
I wish I
need to see some more real stones with this wispiness.
I spend way too much time just
Being stoned, looking at stones.
Googling stones. Yep.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a risky one. Something cool is whenever you have something that is sitting on that top, whether it be a universal pigment from like the pods, an ink, any other kind of dye, if you take alcohol, take ISO and mist it, like really fine mist, when it hits so far into its cure and you mist it with alcohol, you can watch it beat up and roll before the surface tension breaks and lays down. That's whenever you want to do this. You can spray it, and that alcohol is essentially acting as like a buffer between that surface and your brush. So you can go, and then if you have like a striation of white, black, whatever liquid it may be, you can take your brush and just go like that, and like you're not doing it hard, right? You're just barely dragging along the surface, and these bristles don't fully bite in to the epoxy or that pigment. It just barely skates it out, and you can get these like perfect striations that like it goes from very much translucent to opaque. And people see it and they're like, how did you do that? And I was like, I brushed it. And they're like, what do you mean you brushed it? I'm like, I brushed it. They don't understand. You have to use the ISO to do that, because if you don't, it's like,
so you spray the ISO at the right time in the cure process?
yeah, like I mean right now it'd be golden, you know,
Oh,
like,
really?
you
Okay.
get it real well and atomized, and it's essentially is acting almost like a lubricant. It's helping this skate and not bite into it too much. So
gotcha.
like that little bit that it does grab, it very quickly mixes in with the other resin and becomes more and more translucent as you work away from it. And it looks great. Like it's one of the key things whenever I'm doing labradorite. Like there's quite a few stones that have it too. And if you're working with stuff that has like striations, like over here, Stefan took a, I guess he used just a regular paint stick. And you can see in his like more iridescent pigments right here, it has this, almost looks like alligator skin, but you can see these striations clearly, right? Especially as the light hits it, you can see all of that. Because literally he took a paint stick and went chop, 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 chop. And that's another thing where if you put down that ISO first, atomize it, and then put that chop through it, it's again giving a barrier between your tool and that resin. So like it's moving the resin, but it's not interrupting the resin. It's not actually grabbing any of it and moving it. It's just shoving it in place. So if you chop it, you can get these striations. And then if you have like ink or any kind of liquid breakup over that, and then do that another mist of ISO and brush it out, and you get more striations, it looks nuts. Because that's one of the things about a lot of these stones, like whenever you see like this depth and just like this light refraction down in it, it's like, it's almost like this fractal pattern. Like every bit of it has like these fractals, these striations. So if you're doing it on what's very deep in it, and then also doing it on what's sitting on the very top, it just sells that like look. It just looks so much more natural. Actually, at the end of class, I'll do one board where I will get started for doing the closest thing I can do to labradorite. I don't have all the color shifting pigments I need. Actually, I might. We'll do a labradorite look, which I swore I was never going to teach this, but you know, go figure. My first class, I'm like, here's all the secrets. Yeah, I've had people reach out and be like, I will pay whatever you want to make me a video on how to do that. And I'm like, no, nope, not happening. I refuse. This is one of the things, like, there's not much that like once I like figure out that I feel like I have like ownership over, you know? I don't like when people are like, well, I developed that. And yeah, it's a skill that anybody can pay attention to and then replicate, but it's mine. Like, no, it's not yours now. It's everybody's. That's everybody's girl, right? Leave it alone. It was never yours, just except for that brief moment it was in your head, and then you put it out there. Now it's everyone's. Like, you shouldn't have fucking put it out there if you didn't want people copying it, period. Yeah, But man, every time I see Labradorite, like no joke, other than Ileana, she's the only one that I'm like, I see hers, I'm like, man, that's so good. But everyone else's, I'm like, it's so petty. Like, but I know it's petty, so I don't like engage with it. Just keep it in my head. How you feeling?
I'm done.
You're done?
Done with it.
How you feel about it though?
I like it. Looks cool.
Yeah. A lot of people, man, they do make wall art and stuff. They will absolutely leave all that chunky,
Just
like
out,
right there. Yeah. It's you know, it's a visual texture.
That's cool. I think it looks really sick, actually. You gonna keep yours? Yeah, I think so. Are we allowed to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it home.
I'm legit like,
Frame it?
yeah, in my office, cause I have like the pigment charts, like my first like dollar bill that I got,
Very cool.
my first contract,
Yeah.
Madden piece.
I'm gonna hang mine above my bed.
Jerk off to it. I know. It's been
Look at the depth. Oh.
Going to my white vein.
Yes.
Don't want to mess it up.
hey sissy, you can't do it yourself, bro.
So this,
He did your whole board, man.
you definitely put a decent little bit of white in there.
Oh, that's not my white. Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
I can tell because
Yeah,
of how
I
long
don't
ago
know
it
the
was
ratio. Is there a ratio to like liquid pigments?
10% by volume.
10% by volume. So
You can skate by with a little bit more
Okay.
because Mach 1's and single
I feel
shot
like I
is
went
very
probably like
forgiving.
40.
40%?
I feel like I did. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Is it gonna get hard? Come on, man, pause. No diddy.
Wait a minute.
No diddy.
Well, what is the problem if you use too much pigment?
It probably won't get
Um,
hard, right? Yeah.
It's literally like you gotta think the mica is suspended in the epoxy. The epoxy is around it, right? This is a liquid that is like molecularly integrating itself in to the resin. These are two components mixed together with a reaction happening inside of it. Anything that is not those two components in the way is slowing it down. If you put too much of a liquid pigment in, you're essentially interrupting that molecular process altogether. It'll only make so many chains and then it's too weak and it just falls apart. So like sometimes it will not cure at all. Sometimes it will cure, but like because those chains are nowhere near complete, it'll like it'll leach out oil really quickly.
You think it'll stay soft?
Possibly,
Damn it.
maybe.
Well, it won't, he might get lucky too because he put it inside of a clear
Yeah,
coat, right?
yeah,
So you
that
might
absolutely
get,
does.
You might get lucky.
So
part
should
of
I
the
add
fact.
it or should I not?
It might just be your whole project. I created that time bomb in there, right?
I mean, I'm feeling down in there. It's how long ago did you mix this up? About 45 minutes ago, roughly.
I've waited. It's been a while, yeah.
I mean,
Oh, no, it's
down
more.
in there, it's definitely starting to gel.
Nice.
I can feel the,
Maybe I just didn't mix it good enough and I saved it. I'm not feeling that.
just in case.
If anything, I'll take his piece home.
Yeah.
Mine's screwed, I think. I put the best on it. Oh, he doesn't care. Screw your piece. Nice.
That's what we call a fine line.
That's the fine line. These black lines are fine, man. That's fine.
Yeah,
line.
absolutely.
Nice.
I mean, if you wanted to hit it with a little bit of heat or a torch, which I'm amazed that I have not brought that in yet.
What does that do?
The torch not only helps outgassing, like any bubbles that might be trapped. Whenever you apply heat, it can actually change, well, it's changing the properties of the resin itself. So what you do is you have certain reactions that happen, like on these dyes and liquid pigments. Whenever you put heat to them, they spread out even more, but they also sink into the resin. Those like really fine micas, like the super fine stuff that's in like the mother of pearl, and it has like that silvery kind of tone like along those edges. If you hit that with a torch, like while it's in its curing process, like its working time, those will no longer sit on top. You lose that definition. Everything in there kind of falls flat. You know, like it's you're essentially making the resin more viscous very quickly. And then because it's in a certain part of its cure, you remove that heat and it quickly stops moving again, you know. But all of these things sit at a certain level because like that resin is generally one temperature and doing one thing. So you throw that heat on it, it just changes the properties and certain things. It can make some things look much better. It can make some things look much worse.
So you just kind of have to like judge when
Yeah.
to use that.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, unless I'm really, really like manipulating the epoxy, like really getting in there and like working it again and again, just running a chip brush into it, I usually don't run a heat gun or a torch, simply because the Mach 1 is great at releasing those trapped bubbles. If I'm doing a flood coat, like I want my top flood coat to be as close to glass as possible, and like heat definitely helps with just laying down. You know, even sometimes you might have like little like bits of like dust or debris land, and you can see it on the surface, right? And you can actually hit that with a torch, and if it's small enough, it'll just burn off. It'll just disappear, or it'll sink in, and like you don't see it because it's like it's not big enough for you to like really see it. But when it's on the surface and it's interrupting that sheen, you see it.
Do you think, you know, if you got some extra time or something, like you might be able to touch on, like how you get like those, like that beach look, like with the.
Oh, like the waves?
Yeah, with the waves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, I mean, this is the first part of the process right there. So if you have that dye, right, or the liquid pigment, I need a straw.
Holy shit.
There you go. And if before you do that or right after you do that, you hit it with like a really fine mist of alcohol, it'll create these selling points, and then whenever you blow it, those cells just expand. And that's when you get like those waves that really look like you can see those white caps and them fading out. That's all that is.
That's ended. Told you all the sauce in like 30 seconds. Yeah, I was thinking like
No
a straw.
seconds.
A straw.
Yeah.
Because I seen someone do it.
Or
and
hair
they got
dryer.
Oh my
leaf,
god.
leaf
a
blower.
fucking straw.
I mean, leaf blower's good on the floor.
Yeah, like on the floor, like a big.
I'm pretty sure that's how Landis did some of the waves over there.
Okay.
Like on that little beach area at Judy's desk, like that's got some waves to it. That one's got those like, what is it, photo fluorescent, or I forget what it is, like that glowing sea life, like it glows blue. It looks pretty crazy.
Oh, that's right. It does.
So you don't see it during the day, then at night, like these waves and white caps just glow blue.
I've seen pictures of it.
Yeah, over there, like when the lights are out, it has it, and it looks really cool. It's awesome. And it's one of those things of like, a lot of people wouldn't even think to do that, you know? A little attention to detail goes a long way. So with what you have going on, just that, again, I would call that chunky. You can either, you know, take that chip brush and just barely work through it. You can take a straw and like kind of blow it out to get like this wispy kind of breakup over it.
Will it affect
Plenty of
the
options.
top coat like a lot, or will it level back out?
You'll level back out.
Yeah.
Go ahead and blow it. That's what you do best.
And that's
How would you know?
and also like heat, and again, heat, whenever you're disturbing epoxy, especially towards the end of its work time, that heat will absolutely help it lay back out. It'll relax it.
I kind of, not seriously, I kind of do want to see that. Find you a brush. Look, when you do one of these, right, then you can like fine do it, right? The little dab brush.
Where's your piece at?
Huh? I don't get it.
Where's your piece at?
My piece is already dry.
He's so far ahead, like his resin even cures faster.
How soon can we put the next coat on?
So I would keep this as a gauge. It still has pretty soft. Another way you can tell is find something on the edge or like a spot that's not too noticeable. You see how I was like, as I'm touching that, it's sticking to my finger.
Uh-huh.
That's not ready yet. Let that go
Okay.
for a little while.
What do you want to do next? Just like a regular clear, another clear over?
I was going to do kind of like what he did with that blue tint
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do like
Add
that
some of that
blue tint.
translucent blue.
on the top. Because I still got to cover parts of this.
Yeah. That probably look pretty cool.
That's why I was waiting to see what his was coming out with
Yeah.
before I kind of made that decision. Because he did that blue tint on his. And you can't even tell that really there's a blue tint in it.
It's there. Yeah, it's definitely there. It's very faint, but it actually adds a good bit to it.
That's right. Yeah.
That looks good.
That's what I'm trying to do that.
I think that's what. Was it you or was that Dan over there that added the that purple over one of those ones over there?
Which one?
He did something. Was that one on the left? Did that get changed?
Yeah, all the kitchen countertops got poured back in March. We poured over them.
Again from when they first opened?
Yeah, like when it first opened, there was like this blue with like striations and
I think
black.
that's what that Dan did, and he did a purple over that. It was like a clear purple base coat over that. Paycheck.
Yeah, that was like all of that was fast cure.
I seen it. I was literally walking because I was one of the first ones here. That came like early. I didn't know. I thought it was gonna be like way more packed. And I thought it was gonna be like a nut to butt because there's nothing really like this. Like
Yeah, I
still.
mean, it packed out for a minute. It was good crowd here.
He was still over there, like
Kind of
fucking
guarding
with
it. Yeah, yeah, it was
Like,
still curing.
Literally still like still making it.
Yeah.
He was still doing like literally his Dan's hands things poured it.
Well, something didn't get catalyzed all the way and it was still sticky. So he's not sure if he did it just out of like sleep deprivation or somebody else mixed it for him and they just didn't catalyze it enough. We're not sure, but amazingly it did eventually cure, which does not happen most of the time. Like eventually they pulled because they had just this big ballistics or a color chart for the micas, like it's printed on like outside vinyl, you know, and they just laid that on the sticky spot and just kind of let it grab on and all right, well, just leave that there and it's fine. And eventually whenever they pulled it up, somehow it actually hardened. It was no longer sticky and we poured more over it. So like when I was sitting there prepping that area, I was like, Man, you were sitting there going, I'm done with this shit. Ugh. and now look at you, you're going back in.
I can't stop messing with it, honestly.
That looks really good.
I like it, dude. I think this is cool stuff.
Like putting that down and then doing that little bit of like kind of wispy breakup, like it sells a look for sure. Yeah, there you go. Smaller paintbrush. I like it.
Get the little brush, fine details.
Hey, that was an assist. Just like the United States is assisting Ukraine.
I'll tag you on the post.
Zelensky, man. Zelensky, he's a funny dude. He said, we will let the missiles speak for themselves.
Not only that, he used to be a comedian.
Really?
The biggest comedian in Ukraine.
Yeah, he had a comedy show about a first grade teacher, like elementary school teacher, that just so happened to become president of Ukraine.
Yeah.
Isn't that odd?
Show that what would happen if you became president?
Funny.
Honestly,
Huh.
he's I mean, like Ukraine had corrupt presidents for years now. He was actually a
Name one government on the planet that doesn't.
Yeah, true.
And if they don't, the CIA is in there trying to corrupt them.
So I'm not ruining the thing.
Oh, you just need.
Alcohol.
Let's see. Is that one? You know what? I'm going to join you. There you go. A little solvent bath. You can just
Dip it.
give a dip and take.
it out?
Yep. take one of these, kind of wipe it down, and you can get a lot of use out of your brushes.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Yeah.
You like my notes, man? Making notes, dog.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I like it.
For real, bro.
Dude, the first class I taught, I looked at everybody and was like, nobody brought a notebook? And they were like, and I'm like, oh, you have no idea how much information we're going to go over today. Like, first thing is like, I'm busting out a color wheel going, this is color theory. And they're like, why do we need to know this? I'm like, well, because it matters. You're working with the colors. You got to choose the right ones. Excuse me, tubes. I am taking a break.